Okay, so this is the lens to my old lens to the camera. The camera I'm using now has not a new lens, but I got one on eBay. Everything is just kind of falling apart. The lens, I tried to fix it, obviously didn't work. All four of my security cameras are all, the night vision was gone on all four. Two of the cameras were totally gone. My Ethernet that runs from this building to the house, I think the rabbits chewed it up, and so it wasn't working, so I had no internet out here. And one of my DAWs broke. Fortunately, I had two of those. So this is just kind of a little bit of video I made on kind of keeping my motivation for making videos and writing songs, and also you know, doing it on a budget. I'm retired. I do it off of Social Security, basically living off of that. And my wife works, fortunately, but don't have a big budget to you know, fix things that repair. You have to get kind of creative or go back to work, and I don't want to go back to you know, a regular job again. So I do what I have to do. So I did sell my Pro Control, kind of got it working again. It was flaking out, the faders, and kind of got it working again enough to sell it. And then I was able to get another different control surface. Anyways, I'll go over all that here. But thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoy this video. This is kind of been a crazy 10 months. Hi, how's everyone doing? I hope your home studio setups are working out well, being creative and productive and all that. I thought I would kind of show a few changes that I made over the last year. Kind of been changing from the DigiDesign control surfaces to my current control surface. I switched to the Icon QCon and the QCon Pro and the Pro X for the extender, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about how I stay motivated, why I change things up and so on, and kind of talk about my own setup. Like, I've been using Studio One for more than a decade. I use the current version, which is Studio One 7 point something. My computer, the case is about 8 years old. My graphics card is old, like 8 years old. It's a G4 750 Ti, and I have an EVGA 500B power supply that's like 8 years old. Computer Center said I should upgrade to something newer and better, and so I spent about $1,000 a year ago after my computer kind of crashed. And I loaded a new Windows 10. I've got the motherboard is a MEG X570 Unity motherboard. That could be, I got it because you can upgrade it to Windows 11 sometime in the future. Right now I'm still on 10. And I have an AMD Ryzen 5000 series processor. I have a Samsung 2 terabyte solid state hard drive I use for the main, that I store all my music files on for now, and my main programs. And I also have an Inland TN470 2 2 terabyte solid state hard drive that has all my videos separately on that file. And I also use Magix, M-A-G-I-X, Movie Edit Pro. It's kind of an inexpensive video editor that I use for the videos, if you're curious. And you don't have to upgrade PreSonus or Magix if you don't want to. And the upgrades are inexpensive if you do want to. So I changed my studio big time. I have a different control surface desk. I abandoned my studio for about 10 months and I decided to come back and just change everything. That's kind of what I did. So I sold my Pro Control, DigiDesign Pro Control. I sold a bunch of stuff out of my studio because I was kind of getting a bit discouraged with recording. My songwriting I didn't think was great. Still kind of feel that way, but I'm going to continue to write and hopefully improve on that. I had four security cameras that the night vision stopped working, and 2 of my cameras kind of went out completely, so I had 2 cameras left. So I had a lot of stuff just kind of going bad, and it gets kind of isolating back here, so I had to get those working again. See who's at the front door, which is a long ways away on the property, and also for security reasons, I like being back here and be able to see what's going on in my yard. Also, my Ethernet that ran from the studio to the house stopped working, and one of my interfaces, my Scarlett interfaces, one channel of my headphones went out. I opened it up. I purchased that one used on eBay, and it had been worked on before, and it worked for about a year. I only paid about $100 for it, but luckily I had a second Scarlett, second generation 2i2 that worked. So anyway, the music video that I uploaded last was filmed about a year ago. I don't really care for that song, but I did a whole bunch of camera angles. I never made a music video, so I thought it'd be fun editing all those. I had this cool video glider thingy that I made, so I wanted to use all that stuff, but the song I'm not that hot on, and anyways, and I was using, Nyric has the V control software. It worked fine. However, many of the knobs were never programmed for Studio One, so you have a lot of buttons that you don't even use, you can't even use. And I was paying like $57 or something a year for the use of the software, which isn't much. However, my Pro Control was also 20 years old, and it had been poorly maintained. Faders were getting a little flaky, and 20-year-old unit, so it was an older piece. And but I'm an old school, hands-on, faders, knobs kind of a guy. And if you watch any of my previous videos, you'll see my previous studios, I always use control surfaces. I like that hands-on stuff. I don't like just doing everything with the mouse. And most of you know that I use Studio One, and I've been using it for a long time. I've used it since they started. I mean, like 14, 15 years ago with Studio version 2 or something, and now version 7, something like that. So I've had it a long time. And I wished I would have started with Pro Tools, which is the industry standard, but I'd heard that Studio One is easier to use, and after trying out Pro Tools, it is, So, but if I would have learned Pro Tools, DigiDesign would have been perfect. I'd be fine, but it wasn't in the cards. Now I have no complaints about Studio One, except that Studio One's control surfaces are kind of made for like live work more than studio. They don't even have function controls, fast forward, play, and all that stuff. So, anyways, I found the motivation to redo my studio Replaced all 4 of my security cameras. It's only like $100. I'm using wireless Wi-Fi now. I built my first cheapo kit guitar. It's a Telecaster style guitar. Came out pretty nice. Not great at the finish, so it's not very shiny, but it works well. I also purchased, so I got the Icon QCon Pro on eBay for about $214, the main unit, and it was okay condition. It's missing the it was missing an encoder knob. I also had to spend $50 for the Studio One faceplate that goes on the top that I purchased from Icon. I went on eBay and I got the extender piece for, I won it for $203, so I've got a nice 16 faders. Both of them didn't come with the power supplies, which wasn't a biggie. They just require it to be at 12 volts, at least 2.5 amps. I actually had a couple in my shop and that were working great. They're 5 amps and they work fine. Upgrading the firmware was a pain. My studio computer wouldn't see the QCon surface. Luckily, I had another laptop computer that allowed me to install the new firmware on the main QCon Pro unit. And having a small studio in a small 10 by 12 building made me get creative in making a small space kind of work the best way that I could. One thing I know is I like having my big monitor, you can see here. I have it right at eye level. I learned this from old desks that I made off of my legs that I had, and it was too tall, and looking up at a screen wasn't going to work, and my eyes aren't great. I wanted something big, and so I built this desk. I built a lot of little desks off of these Argosy bases, and I kept. It was originally an old Mackie 8-bus desk that I paid $100 for around 15 years ago, and I changed the configuration, cut it down, and did all kinds of things depending on the way my studio was laid out. One thing that I learned early on, especially when we were living in a townhome, was that I want to be able to sing loud, play acoustic guitar, and be creative anytime, day or night. And so, you know, with having other people in the house and neighbors and everything else, I made a soundproof room. And I just kind of made a bunch of panels that I can just kind of hold together with bungee cords, so I could take it apart and move it from place to place, and you know, bought a bunch of square foam that I just kind of put in it. Had a window, and I also had a keyboard and a mouse so I could record from that room. So one thing that I thought that I would touch on too, you know, so that's why I have this studio out in the back. I can play music and I can play through my main speakers loud and not disturb neighbors or anyone. Even though I had a soundproof room, I'd still have to do playbacks through my headphones. Another thing I would mention that I use a lot, being on a small budget, I use Z-Sounds and American Music, AMS, to purchase studio and music gear, since they don't do credit or income checks, and they have 0 interest loans available. So I recently picked up this really nice Warm Audio WA 87 that I love, and I just recently paid it off. So these days, all my recordings are done with plugins only. I used to have UAD, Universal Audio, but PreSonus comes with so many great plugins, I only need those, really. I think they work great, and I'm always having trouble with my Universal Audios coming into my studio anyways, working with my studio. And this works well for me. And all my plugins, you know, I think are pretty good, you know. Also, I eliminated all the rack gear that I didn't need, all the clutter, to make it super simple to turn stuff on and just get creative. Now I really like this QCon setup, though I wouldn't mind having the newest icon, which you can get on Z-Sounds, but they're like $1,000 for the main and another $1,000 for the extender. It's the V1M. Maybe in the future. I do like their scribble strips on them, and the colors match what's on your studio, so it's pretty cool. But they're just too expensive for me currently. I really love this one. I love the lighted mute solo and the record channel buttons above the faders, and I love the functions. I made an armrest. It looks like the old Argosy armrest, kind of the old armrest that I had there. Kind of made it from scratch. Came out really well, and I like it's not so deep, so you can really easily reach the buttons, and it connects to the Studio One effortlessly. It doesn't matter what I turn on first; it just finds it, and it's well made, all metal. I love the feel of it. It's really made well. At some point I'll probably replace the missing knob that's at the top, but I'm still in the process of moving everything in now, and I'm finding my creative motivation again. So, you know, hopefully I'll get some better music. The last video I did wasn't a great song. I will do better. Anyway, I really appreciate everyone, and I look forward to writing and recording some more songs again. This space is fantastic. I really love it. I'm so grateful to have this 10 by 12 out in the backyard. I've got a little space heater. Everything works so well, and I love having this studio. And you know, hopefully it gives you some ideas on your studio and how maybe you want to create yours. Being out here, I love this space. Having a smaller board, I have a lot more room to work. It's just been really nice. So anyways, I'll kind of leave it here, and I'll get another video going in the future. It's been a little while. But anyways, good luck with your setups, and I hope this gives you some creative ideas on what I do, and we'll just kind of see you on that next video. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.